1, 2, 3, 4.
Mrs. and a mic, you don't need much more.
4 misses.
Come on.
4 misses.
Come on.
5, 6, 7, 8.
It's your favorite podcast, so save the date.
4 misses.
Come on.
4 misses.
Come on. 4 misses and a mic. Come on. 4 misses and a mic. Come on.
Hi, guys. Welcome to this episode of For Mrs. and a Mic. This is CJ.
To the left is CC. It's Al.
And Bree.
Hi. So we just want to thank all of you for listening and supporting our podcast. It really means a lot to us. And we're just going to go ahead and jump right on into the topic. So today we are talking about money. Money. And we're basically talking about finances in a marriage. Do you have separate finances? Do you have joint finances? How do you guys handle the money in a marriage?
Who wants to go first?
This is Bree. What's mine is mine, and what's his is mine. No, I'm just
That's one way to do it.
I'm kidding. No, nothing like that. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm distracted. I just realized one of my exes just got engaged. That's all.
Well,
Yeah.
well.
Congrats to them. Like I
Yes,
said, their
congrats.
names. But no, I'm like happy for them. Like I was just being nosy and looked at the pictures. That's all. Anyways, so we have separate finances in the Bree household, and it's always been like that. We've never even kind of talked about joining finances. I think in the beginning, it was just out of convenience. You know, he had his money, I had my money, and any joint bills we had, we just kind of half-seized it. And then we just kind of kept rolling with it because it was easy to do. It was kind of like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I like, just because I'm the daughter of a super independent woman, like being able to be completely in control of like my money that my efforts and my hard work created. And I don't want somebody else to check me or question me about how I'm spending it. You know, I have friends who have joint finances and their husbands will call them after lunch and be like, you spent $30 at sushi at lunch. And it's like, that's my business. I make more than $30. I can do that. You know, like I'm not going to have us foreclosed on because of my lunch date. I don't like that whole, you know, like, I don't know. It feels like a control tactic to me, and it's one I never really liked. So I like being in control of my finances. And conversely, I don't check him about his. As long as his portion of the bills are paid, he has a retirement set up, he has savings going. What he does with his money outside of that is his business. He has hobbies that cost money. I don't question. That's his business. And when it's time for like gift giving, you know, scenarios, holidays, birthdays, Christmas, that type of stuff, I don't feel like I'm giving him a gift with his own money, you know, because if you pull it out of a joint account, I mean, some of that's his money. So it's like, oh, you gave yourself this Rolex or whatever. Not that I've ever bought my husband a Rolex yet. I'm just saying. But I just like the idea of like, I went to work and I made this money and here I am giving this to you kind of thing. So for us, it works.
So the Bree household is completely
separate.
So I'll tell you, I'll go next since I'm a little bit of both. We've been completely separate up until recently. And we smeared maybe like an account or two. But the majority of the debt that we have separately. And that's primarily just because in the event that we need to purchase something big, the car or something like that, I have this thing about having my credit pulled very often because that affects scores. Mm-hmm. So we do it independently so that only one inquiry is hitting each other's report. So for that reason, our debt is separate. Big purchases together, that's the house.
Wait, pause.
And
you brought up something I didn't even think about. So our debt is not separate because like all of our big purchases are together.
So that's separate for us. So not saying that I would hope that anything bad would happen to either one of us. Not saying that I would hope that anything bad would happen to one of us, but in the event that he passed or I passed, his debt goes with him.
Does it
My
though?
debt goes with him.
Doesn't his debt go with the estate though?
Yes and no.
And
it's
the estate
tricky,
passes
but
to you.
a debt collector can't really come after the individual or the estate. You can satisfy it, but I don't think they can they can't come after me personally for something that's in
Right.
his name.
Right. No, I know they can't come after you personally, but I guess for us, all of the debt that I'm speaking of are like the big things. So like our home, the cars and stuff like that is joint. That, I mean, I'm going to take that over if he would have passed anyways. And that's what life insurance is for. I'll probably just pay all of that stuff off immediately and, keep it rolling. By the way, if y'all are listening, and you're married and you don't have life insurance policies on each other, get one today.
Yep.
It is very important.
So anyway, and then the other thing, like I said, is if I need to purchase a car, he needs to purchase a car. To me, it seems like overkill for both of us
to get the credit inquiry.
Right, like unnecessarily. So I'll do it for me, he'll do it for him, and that way if we need to do something else,
that's so weird to me. Can I just, you might know more about this than I do, but it's weird to me. Excuse me, that was a burp. That was another one. That if you go like buy a car, that let's say they run the credit of you. And you're like, well, I want to put my husband on a loan, but your credit score is high enough to pretty much guarantee they're going to finance you anyways. Why do they even have to run his credit? It's like you can guarantee the loan.
If you can qualify by yourself, then you can do it. If you can't qualify by yourself, then that's when you need his credit or his income. It depends.
But that's what I'm saying. But like, let's just say just for purposes of co-ownership, you wanted to have both of you on a loan, but it's not necessary that both of you be on a loan. Like, why is that
So he can be on the title and I can be on the title. But
only one of y'all be on the loan. Oh, Snapple.
Yeah, so that can happen.
I didn't even know that. I'm gonna have to talk to Mr. Bree about that.
Yeah, so you can own the car without being on the loan.
So you guys are you were separate, and then some things you have.
So we smeared one of the checking accounts, and that's it. We smeared one of our checking accounts, and that's it. But like I said, the reason that we
can you define what smear is for the people who don't know? Because I don't know what that word means.
So okay.
Okay. But that was like finance lingo.
No. I was just saying like we smeared
blurred the lines a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Blurred the lines a little bit.
It's really not. It's just, anyway, so I do like keeping it separate though, because for gift giving.
Yes, that's the same thing. I like that too.
Yeah. So I guess we're probably still more separate than joint.
But y'all are a little. I would say y'all are more joint than we are, but no, because y'all's deck's separate and ours is joint. So maybe on like the sliding scale, we're probably in the same spot.
Probably.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, in the L household, we're pretty much like a well-oiled machine. Like we're joint. Like our checks go to the same account. All the bills come out that account automatically. We don't ever have to like go pay anything on the online or anything like that. Everything's just automatic. But we do a recent development. We have separate spending accounts. We had our spending account together, and my husband seemed to think that I was spending a whole lot more than he was. So now we have
Amazon
budgets. We have budgets, and we have separate spending accounts. We also have separate savings accounts, but really they're still joint because our names are on both of them. Like both of our names are on both of the savings accounts. And then we also have a savings account like together. So it's kind of all joint pretty much, except for our spending, because and then we do have our own credit cards. So, if I wanted to put something on a credit card, it's just in my name, and same for him.
Yeah, we have separate credit cards.
It's just easier, I think, that way, because it's whatever you had before you deal with, whatever I had before I deal with, and everything else went through the middle.
But I will say, like with cars and everything, we just automatically both, get on the loans and everything. So pretty much everything is joint. Yeah.
That's the traditional way. I feel like that's the way our parents and stuff did it.
Yeah, it's just easy. Like neither one of us like to have to remember when things are due. Like, oh, well, you pay for this half and I pay for this half. It's just too confusing. So we're like,
So the way we handle
it all
that
in one spot
is
and it's just.
We have assigned bills. So like most of the bills we don't actually split. Most of the bills it's like, well, you pay the water, I pay the light.
So that's what we do.
Yeah. Instead of being like, well, it's $115, so give me half. Like, because that would be like
that's
more difficult.
Well,
so it's just like I just have to
easier.
remember I gotta pay a light bill.
Right.
So like that kind of thing.
Okay, so in the CJ household, we have joint accounts. So we have joint checking accounts, joint saving accounts, And but we have multiple. So we have multiple checking accounts and multiple savings accounts. And so so for instance, one checking account is set up strictly for bills. And then that's the account that all the bills come out of. Another checking account is set up for household purchases. So maybe groceries or us going out for the weekend or, toiletries and things like that. And then we have joint savings accounts that we put money in. So some money in one saving account, some money in the other saving account. But we have access to all of them. We do have separate credit cards. So I have my own credit card. He has his own credit card. 2 different companies, 2 different brands, all of that. And then cars are separate. So his name is on his car and then I'm on my car. But when it comes time to pay those bills, they all come out of
joint.
Right, the
That
joint
sounds
account.
very, very, very similar to ours.
Right. So in the instance of gift giving, if you really want it to be a secret, I mean, we know that essentially it's coming out of the family money because for us, that's what it is. It's, family money.
Yeah.
But if you want it to be a surprise before you give the gift, then I could just purchase it on my credit card and he could do so on his and then, handle the bill afterwards.
Yeah, but
So
is
we're
the
kinda
bill?
split.
I got a question. Is the bill paid out of like y'all's joint account?
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, that would still feel like he's paying for his gifts.
Well, but both
I'm not knocking you, by
right.
the way.
I get what you're saying, but I guess for me, both of our money,
Right,
our checks,
contributing
both of our checks
to
are contributing to that
account.
account. So it's not. I mean, you could feel like you're paying for it, but he contributed to the account that is paying for that gift. So, I don't.
So I have heard that there should be like a good way to do it is that you have 4 accounts, 2 individuals on your own. So one for husband, one for wife, like a spending account just separate, one joint for operating, and then a joint savings. So bills and everything out of operating, groceries, all that. And then one account for saving and then 2 separate accounts, checking or savings, whatever you want. And you operate that way.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how we have it, except we have a lot of other accounts because my husband is like a finance freak. But it's like we used to have like just the joint spending, like, all of our groceries, like if we wanted to go out, things like that was joint. But now it's 2 separate accounts. So we have our separate checking accounts. And when I said that our savings accounts were separate, but we're both on each other's account. We are both on the accounts if something were to happen.
You have access.
We have
it's yours
access, but
and
it's mine.
his,
So he's not constantly looking at it, and I'm not constantly looking at his, that type of thing.
Now that's one thing we don't do a good job of. So
Yeah.
like if something happened to either one of us, then it might be a little bit tricky. I mean, somebody else is on it, but it may not be necessarily.
So I'm not on his accounts, but I have like all the access
Information.
codes
And that's how we are, too.
numbers and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So like the bank wouldn't know if something happened to him and I needed to access that money that wasn't him that withdrew it.
Yeah.
So that's good enough for me. I feel like he doesn't have to like put my name on it or whatever. But I just feel like regardless, regardless of your finances, both parties need to be aware of the other
Of
person's
everything.
finances. Because
Yeah.
even though, I like to be rather independent, my husband knows generally what my finances look like. I know the general gist of his finances. I couldn't tell you like what his checking account looks like to the penny right now or anything like that, but I can tell you approximately how much money he should have roughly based on his spending and his making and blah, 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 blah. So like if something pops up, I know if we can handle it or not, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, we know everything, even as far as retirement accounts. Like we know how much each other, down to retirement
I
accounts.
don't know if it's in his retirement.
everything.
I know he doesn't know it's in mine. Now I want to check it. I want to like see if mine is bigger than his.
Yeah. So one of the things that frustrates me is I think it's very important to be completely transparent about money in a marriage. And Mr. CJ has access to all of our accounts, but he doesn't check them. So I guess I'm more of the numbers person. and he lets me like handle the budgets and lets me handle the finances. So much so that he doesn't check the accounts often. He'll call me first to say, hey, what's in this account? Or, you know, I'm getting ready to take this much money out, before he'll check the account himself. And I tell him all the time, if I were a gold digger, I would have robbed you blind and you would never know.
But he's not a big spender, though, right?
No,
he's
not.
Yeah. See, well, that's a good thing because that would be a problem if he's just spending and doesn't know what you guys have.
Right.
I remember Mrs. CJ was like, I went to the dollar store once for supplies, and I got up to the register, and she said my total was $60, and I was like, $60. So no, he's not a big spender.
No, he's frugal. But I appreciate it because, you know, for us, because everything is joint, it's like big family goals, and money for us is, it really is a joint effort. So if there's like a bill we're trying to pay off, or like we're trying to get to a certain savings level, or a big purchase we're trying to make, it really is a group effort. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate him being frugal because it helps us to budget accordingly, and it's not a big fight for us to stay on track.
Okay, so let me change gears a little bit here. So for us, the four of us, salary-wise, we're probably all within 30,000 of our spouse, one way or the other. So like, it's not like the salary gap is like astronomical between us. Mm-hmm. What if in your marriage, you or your spouse made hundreds of thousands more than you did? Do you still believe that the finances should be completely joined? Should they be separate? Should they, like, let's say, you know, you're a preschool teacher and he's a neurosurgeon or something. Like, does the amount you're contributing affect how the finances are handled is what I'm getting at.
At that point, it has to be different because your expenses... And I'm sorry, I guess I'm assuming though, your expenses are going to be different, and the salary of
like
one person.
Like whose
not,
expenses? Like the couple's expenses?
The joint expenses. I mean, generally speaking, if you have that big of a gap, you're probably going to live on a larger, I guess your lifestyle would just be more expensive. So at that point, it has to be joint. It would be in my household. Let me say that for me. So if he's a neurosurgeon and I'm a preschool teacher, our lifestyle is going to be very different. So we're going to have joint finances because your salary is going to obviously take up.
But it really doesn't, because think about this. You know, he could say, well, you know, babe, since I make $300,000 a year, whatever, and you only make $50,000, I'll pay for the household bills. I'll pay for the car notes. You just take your salary and, you know, if you want to go shopping and buy groceries.
That, but I feel like
then that could stay separate. You know what I'm saying?
It could, yeah.
So the thing I don't like about that is the idea that you make that it now seems like one person has more power in decision making.
Right, that's what I'm getting at.
Because they are making more money. Because to be completely honest, a preschool teacher is a bomb job.
Oh yeah,
and
one I could not do. Power to all the preschool teachers out there.
Right, and it's not that teacher's fault that she's getting paid significantly less because she's making a huge impact in the community.
Right.
So I don't think it's fair to say that because you have this great career that doesn't pay as much, you have less say so in the household finances.
So I don't think I don't think we were trying to belittle. I think it was just a matter of, obviously the neurosurgeon is gonna make more in this situation. So in the event that does happen, since the lifestyle will probably match the higher salaries, then we probably will end up with a situation where he will have to pay more of the majority of the bills because he's making more.
Right. No, I wasn't saying, you were saying, like you were belittling that. I was just saying in general, when Bree brought up the topic, that was the first thing that came to mind.
I think that's going to be a character trait though too.
I think
it depends on who, because I mean, there are some neurosurgeons that are like, no, like I'm going to control everything and, you know, I'm making more than you, so I'm going to control everything. But you may have one that's just like, look, I'm so busy and occupied doing what I'm doing, you just take care of everything. You know what I mean? So I think that depends on person.
Yeah, I think that at least in our situation, I think that it would still be the same. It would all be joint. It's just easier to me. I mean, that's literally why we do it. It's just easier for us. So it all works, and it's literally a well-oiled machine. It's just everything's laid out and set up and easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about if, because I feel like gender does sometimes play a part in this, especially because people tend to assume that the man is the breadwinner and he makes more money, especially because there's a wage gap in this country amongst men and women, but that's a whole nother issue. What if it's, the wife that's making grossly more money than the husband? She's the neurosurgeon and he's the preschool teacher.
Yeah, so for me, it's still the same. If that were the case and I were making $500,000 and Mr. CJ was making $50,000, it's still the same. For us, we would still have our joint finances. We would still have our bills account, our spending account.
He would still have to call you and ask you if he could take out money.
So he doesn't call me to ask me if he can take out money. I think for him, it's just a courtesy, to be honest, because he can take out whatever he wants because he's contributing to the account. So I'm definitely not telling him, nah, babe, you can't go take out that $100. I'm not saying that. I think for him, it's just a courtesy because he knows we're operating as a team.
Well, I wasn't trying to imply that, like, you don't let him. I was more so getting at that he doesn't know what's in the accounts because he doesn't check them.
Right. So, yes, in that case, he would still call me and be like, I'm going to the bank to take out this money. What's in there? Yeah, that would always be the case.
We would probably be blended if that were the case. We would probably
merge everything.
Yeah.
I think we would be the same. I think the only difference would be instead of us kind of equally distributing who pays what bills, whoever's making that money would probably just be like, I got it. I'll just pay all of our living expenses.
And I could see us being that way too. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would change with us is we'd have a lot higher spending account.
So you can buy more stuff on Amazon.
Yeah, a lot more stuff on Amazon.
Lord have mercy.
So let me ask you guys.
Amazon, if you're listening, y'all should give us a sponsorship off of the money Elle has spent with y'all. just on that.
Love me some Amazon.
So while we're talking about the fact that we all have different financial situations, we know that finances are actually one of the top reasons that couples get divorced.
Yeah.
So in each of our given situations, what has been a pitfall to the way your finances are set up?
I can tell you, for me, I am much more of like a you can't take it with you, live today, not for tomorrow kind of person. If I want it, buy it type of gal. So I won't say it's a pitfall, but I know my husband definitely has had to like rein me back in. Probably more than the next chick. But on the good side, I'm spending my money, not him. Well, hold on. He will spend his money on me, but that's his decision. That's separate than me just buying stuff with my money. You know what I'm saying?
But you don't complain about it.
Well, no, of course not. But he also is a lot more thoughtful about the money that he spends on me. Whereas I might be like, ooh, sparkly, shiny, I buy. He'll be like, that might be a nice gift for Bree. Let me see how things pan out this month. And if I'm straight, put this aside, put that aside, she might get it. So that's like the difference for us. So thinking of a scenario where our current financial situation could result in like a divorce, the only thing I can think of is if one of us completely stopped even trying to pull our weight. That would be it. And that would be more of like a, like a lazy, you've given up, kind of what's going on psychologically type of thing, That could be the only thing I could think of just for our scenario.
So, I mean, we were young when we got married, so we went through like a phase where, we were living tight. It was before we were like established in our careers. So I remember that being a rough time just because we were younger, we were trying to establish careers. We had bills and we were just trying to, I don't know, it caused a little bit of tension. I mean, it wasn't anything where we were like, I'm done, get out of here. But it was, there was a tense period for that reason.
Tense because you guys were just on a tight budget, or tense because...
No, it was a little bit of both. We were trying to live within a budget, but then we were also trying to start out. We were trying to buy our house. We were looking for new jobs fresh out of college, and we just trying to make it work. And for that reason, it was like, okay, we are. And then, we had a few incidents in the beginning.
She might tell y'all about those one day.
Some health things on both of our end that kept us out of work for a little while, very early on. And I mean, that created a little bit of tension too. So that coupled with living tighter, and ultimately looking at it now, it's just like, man, why was that even a reason that we would even be tense? Because now we've come so far from that. So I think it was just a test. Like, I guess it's more of a testimony now.
Go ahead.
Do you think it was more because you guys were figuring out how to make the finances work now that you were a unit as opposed to two separate individuals?
Everything happened, it seemed like, at one time. It was two individuals trying to figure out careers, trying to figure out life, coming together as one. It was just a startup trouble. I mean, I think we all have like that startup trouble where it's, how do we make this work?
I think it was probably because y'all were like younger and not as well established that was able to cause tension. I think if that same thing happened today, that would not right. And the reason why I can attest to that is because right now I'm not working because I have a medical issue that's keeping me out, and so really my husband is taking control of all of the finances, and it's not causing tension at all between it. You know what I mean? He's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna pay all the bills. Like that's just. And I would do the same for him, like you and your husband did for each other, So I think it probably had more to do with y'all being like young.
Right. And just trying to understand how to make this work.
Right.
I wouldn't trade it because, oh my gosh, like I feel like because of that, we're that much stronger now. Mm-hmm. So it would take a lot more than stress finances to pull us right now. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Sorry. Britney break. Go ahead. Anybody else? Don't look at me like that. I love Britney Spears.
Me too. I'm a Britney fan.
I am. It's Britney, bitch.
So I will say the only pitfall for us would be we haven't had, to be honest, we have not had any major pitfalls. The biggest pitfall for us would be if somebody decided to spend a large sum of money on something that we had not discussed beforehand. That would cause an issue. Something that did cause an issue for us, my husband has a very loving heart, and there was a point in time early in our marriage where he wanted to help out a friend. Mm-hmm. And, committed to loaning this friend a large sum of money before he and I talked. Uh-oh. And that was a bit of an issue. So that is a pitfall in having joint accounts, is that everything that's going on, and you see when big purchases happen. So in this situation, because he knew I would see this large sum of money be missing from our account, he had to talk to me about it, tell me where it was going. Of course, we didn't agree on where it was going or how it was coming back. And
how it was coming back. She was like, I'm going to go bust his kneecaps. And he was like, you can't do that.
So yeah, that did cause a little rift. So I will say having joint accounts, that's the pitfall. You see everything happening on your end. He sees everything happening on his end, and vice versa. And so if there is a purchase that you all don't agree on, then you butt heads.
And see, that bothers me probably more than the average person, because I saw my mom and my dad go through that. Like my mom would go shopping and like hide the clothes in her closet. And then like pop the tags off, and then she'd be like, boy, this is old. I had this a long time. What you talking? You don't remember, like that kind of thing. No, she just bought it yesterday. And I was like, I'm never ever dealing with that in my own marriage. Like, you're not gonna check me about how I spend the money that I earned.
Yeah. One pitfall we came across was, like I said earlier, we had a joint spending, and I just so happened to spend a lot more from it. And
on Amazon.
And it actually a few times ended up to where I would spend more than what was in it, and our bail account had to go into the spending account to like compensate, So like it was kind of like an issue with that. So he's like, oh no, we gotta do joint and we gotta do separate. We have to do separate spending accounts. And so like that was like kind of devastating to me because I was like, wait a minute, are we getting divorced? Like, what do you mean?
No, your bank accounts are getting divorced
completely. He said, no, we have to separate this out. So we separated the joint spending. So that was one small thing. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it's working out perfect actually with the separate spending. So that's a good thing.
But that could be a solution to someone who's having that problem.
Yeah.
Is to, it's nice to have things together, but maybe something should be separated to avoid conflict.
Yeah. I think it goes back to what Cece said about ideally the 4 accounts, and you have your personal, but then you have your joint. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you spend out your personal.
Mm-hmm. And I think ultimately it's whatever works for.
Yeah, whatever works for the couple.
For the couple.
So, real quick, what about those couples where one party is a kept person? So, like, the other party doesn't work, but, like, on purpose. It's kind of like, you don't need to work. You can just stay home, be a stay-at-home husband or stay-at-home wife or whatever. Do those couples need to have, like, joint or separate finances?
Well, they're not contributing, you're saying, right? One person isn't contributing.
They're not contributing monetarily, but that doesn't mean that person can't have, like, their own spending account.
I see what you're saying.
I think that scenario is based on the couple as well. So just like we have different things that work for us in our marriages, it's based on them. And, I do think that just because one party is stay at home and the other person is working, doesn't mean the stay at home person gets nothing because they are contributing to the household. They're helping to run the household. So I definitely, don't think that they should not have access to the funds. Right. But how that access looks is up to that couple.
Interestingly enough, I think if that were my scenario and I were the stay-at-home wife, that would be when we would have joint finances. Because
you have to. I would think at that point.
Well, no, because you could have separate, and he could give you like an allowance. But to me, that would make me feel like I'm a child. Yeah, even if the allowance was a big amount of money, like I still like.
I actually know a couple like that, and she doesn't work, but she handles all of the finances, like all of them. She pays all the bills out of their joint, and she handles all the bills, and she handles all of the monetary stuff. Because he's just working and he's like, I don't want to deal with any of that. So she deals with the house and the household stuff. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
I'd probably have to do that as well because he don't pay attention.
Okay. So the conclusion is whatever works best for you.
He just gave you a couple different scenarios. Yeah. Of why each of us.
There's no like right to this.
Right.
But there are wrongs. So the wrongs are for either party to use money to control the other party.
Or hiding funds. Although I will say, I once hid that I was saving more money for my husband and then surprised him. And that was like the happiest day of his life.
Wasn't that totally an episode of
Martin? He was like, are you serious? You've been saving? I'm like, I saved more. He's like,
wasn't that on Martin though? Like Gina and Martin... Like they decide they tried to join their bank accounts or something like that, but like she contributed like 5,000 and he contributed 500 because she made more money than him.
I don't remember.
But then he bought like a big screen. It's like y'all gotta go.
But I'm not saying try that because it.
But you know what though, my mom being a divorce attorney and being the independent woman that she is, always taught me you have your secret mad money. So like if you gotta roll out, it's not like you're rolling out with $10 in your pocket. And he can't like cut off your credit cards and like shut the accounts down and you're stuck out. And so I haven't done this because again, our finances are separate. So what's mine is mine. But I probably would if we were joint and not with malicious intent of like, I think our marriage is going to fail or I think he's going to turn into this monster and I'm going to have to leave him. But just so that I know that I have my own, for whatever reason, it could be to give him a gift or whatever. But I would have to have my own is all I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
Yeah, I can understand.
But regardless, you have to be aware of the finances.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with
completely. I know some people who don't know
Anything. And I'm like,
and
you
that
could be getting
scares
robbed
me.
blind.
I know.
That scares me so much.
And let me tell you, the person you are so in love with tomorrow, 5 years from now, when y'all going through a really nasty divorce, they're going to want to try to hide money and assets from you. And if you were oblivious this whole time because you were just in love and not using your head, you're going to be stuck out. You're going to be settling with somebody for $10,000 when you could have got $100.
Very true.
Yeah. Moral of the story is to be knowledgeable of all the money coming in and going out, all the assets, anything you own that is of value. Know
And get a
about
life
it.
insurance policy. That's for everybody.
Yeah.
I would get one on my pets if I could. I believe in life insurance.
I do
agree.
too. Definitely.
All right, so we got a listener question.
Yes, we do. And we have a special treat because tonight our listener is in the building.
She's in the building.
We have a live listener question.
Woo, woo.
Yeah, come on over, listener. Introduce yourself.
What's your name? Where you from?
My name's Dolores, and I'm from the Cali. No, I'm just playing. That's not her.
What's up, y'all? This is Key from the East. So my question is, how soon is too soon to go on a trip with a new boo?
All right, Key. So this girl Bree, I have a follow-up question. Does he have a private jet? because if he does, it's never too soon.
So no, it's no private jet.
Oh.
It's gonna be real Southwest Delta.
Okay, that might change things a little bit.
Are y'all staying together or separate?
So we will be staying together.
Is he in the friend zone or is it something you're exploring?
So right now it's like a exploring type of situation.
All right. Did you know him prior to this, or y'all like met and then?
Who is asking the listener question?
I want clarification because let me tell you, because my answer changes depending on the answer she gives to each one of my follow-up questions.
Unless he has a private jet.
Unless he has a private jet, and then it's never too soon. Book me on the PJ.
So I knew of him, but I didn't.
Okay, you could stop right there.
Okay.
I'm just, he's not a catfish. Is all I was getting at.
Right.
Okay, all right. I would
trouble.
say, girl, within the first month, I'd be ready to roll.
Really?
Really? First of all, y'all know I have wanderlust. I like to go places. Second of all, think about this. A lot of times within the first month, you're already in close proximities with this person. So if he was a psychopath serial killer, he could take you out at plenty of other times. He don't have to take you nowhere else to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
So live life. Be young and free.
Yeah, and see, I'm the exact opposite. I don't want to be on the next episode of the first 48. So I would.
First of all, unless he's taking you to Ohio or Dallas, you're not going to be on it because they don't film that everywhere.
The trip would be like Colorado.
Oh, y'all want to
So
blaze
it's a possibility I
up.
could go missing in the mountains.
You could go missing in the
That
east.
changes things. Yeah, you could go missing.
You could go
anywhere.
missing in the ninth ward. Like what?
I don't know if you can put a time frame on it.
Yeah,
I think it has
it's
to
like
be
a
how
feeling.
comfortable-
It's
How
so
comfortable you are.
situational.
Yeah,
like-
and then you let everybody know where you are, and then you take your mace, and then
Mace, girl. Colorado got reciprocity. Take that chopper.
whatever
So-
makes you feel comfortable, you take it. And I just think it depends on how comfortable you are,
Yeah.
and you let everybody know exactly where you're gonna be.
Drop a pin so we know.
Exactly.
We'll
That's
find
all.
you.
Yeah, because I think me and my mister, I think it wasn't traveling per se. It was to Monroe, Louisiana.
I mean, you could.
It was
you
for
could-
my homecoming, but it was like within a month or two.
I just have a question. Was that the photo you showed us?
No,
Oh, okay.
that was a
I
long
wasn't
time
gonna,
ago.
I wasn't
Bree.
going to
That
describe
was
the
a long time ago. Let it go.
It was in Rose City. I just wanted to know.
Anyway, so that was like very short into the relationship. I think it's just very situational. It just depends.
If
Like,
your gut tells you no, then no.
Yeah,
You gotta trust
yeah.
your gut.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to trust your
For
gut.
sure.
Definitely.
And I think the important thing to remember is you will be in close proximity with this person, away from the comforts of your own home for however long you're there, and you have to be comfortable with that. If anything about being alone with this person makes you feel uncomfortable
Yep.
or annoyed or frustrated, then that means a trip is not a good idea.
Yeah, and you know what? I will say for the trip that I was talking about, it was actually for my friend's graduation, and we were going with my friends. Like, they were there.
Oh, so it
so
wasn't
it's
just the
kind
two
of
of you?
like, yeah, that's kind of different too. So, I don't
But
know.
if you're, let me ask you this: would you be alone with him here?
Yeah, so I would.
So you could go on your
Okay.
trip. You could go, really, truthfully. Now, make sure you got credit card, cash,
Oh.
whatever. So if you got to be like, screw this, I'm out. You working on my last goddamn nerve, and go get your own room and book your own flight back. You can do so.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, just go on your trip, have fun. I don't think, because I'm just thinking back to like me and Mr. Bree. Girl, I probably would have went to the moon with him a week later. I was so in love. I was so in love. I was just the truth.
Boom.
So just, yeah.
Any suggestions? He claims this is his first trip with a female.
Oh.
Tell him to put the toilet seat down.
Right.
I mean, what is he?
Make sure, yeah.
It's not, I mean, it's not really that different than traveling with a guy, except, maybe something might pop off. That's it.
Girl, you must be something special.
I know.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
know. But, no, I mean, just have fun. Just,
Okay.
Has he ever been to the destination y'all are going to?
No, so this will be both of our first time.
Oh, this will be
gotta worry
great.
about,
Yeah, and y'all can explore it together. And he'll be just as lost as you are if you decide to leave him.
Yeah, no.
So don't worry about it. You
That should be fun.
We
Yeah.
actually started Googling stuff, and we've been Googling the same stuff, so we're gonna be
Look
going
at
through
that. Look
Aw.
at it go.
Yeah,
It's going to be
yeah.
fun.
Oh, that's so
Y'all
cute.
have fun. Take pictures and tag 4 Misses in it.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Key, for that listener question.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Key.
ladies.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Well, this has been another edition of 4 Mrs. and a Mic. If you want to reach out to us, say hi, submit a listener question, you can hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or you can email us at 4mrsandamic@gmail.com. That's the number 4, mrsandamic@gmail.com. And remember, wherever you listen to us, hit the subscribe button so that you get notifications when we release a new episode. Do you have a quote for us, Bree?
Of course, I always do. So my quote this week is not actually a song lyric. It's a quote I've heard from many a drunken uncle. Everybody has that uncle, with the taco meat chest hair, polyester shirt with the buttons open, the gold chain, and the sandals. I'm talking about that uncle. Ain't gonna be no romance without finance. Y'all be blessed.
All right, guys. This is CJ.
To the left is CC.
It's L.
And Bree.